At the age of 14, I left Ireland. My father's job moved to Chicago. I left a world where they knew who I was, where I seemed cool in school, to a world where my clothes were different. I spoke the same language, but they didn't understand a word. And I saw a different way of viewing the world. I met teachers that had a different belief about what human potential is. In reality, my friends at school in Ireland, if their father was a carpenter, their wish was to follow on. If their father was a bus driver, that was most likely what the son believed they would grow up to do. When I moved to Chicago, age 14, I was blown away by the belief that these children had over what one human life could do to affect our world. And I met a teacher who changed my life. He taught biology, but the core of his class had nothing to do with the textbook of biology. There's one anecdote I remember very clearly. It was early in the term. I was still the new guy in class. We'd handed in a homework. And Mr. Matz, biology teacher, on the Monday was giving back the homeworks. And he was going down the aisles. And American high school looks just like the movies. So it really did look just like the movies. Mr. Matz was coming down the aisle and putting our homework on each table. And when he reached to my table, he put the page, and as he moved on, I took it and I turned it over. And at the top of this homework, he had written 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10. As a boy from Ireland, looking at this, I knew that he had made a mistake. I knew that there don't exist 11s out of 10. I knew that I needed to go and let Mr. Matz know of this grave mistake. I was worried about how the school grading system would cope with such an error. But it took me all the way through Monday, all the way through Tuesday. It was probably Wednesday that I got up the courage at a moment in class to walk up to Mr. Matt's desk. And I walked up with this rare 11 out of 10 homework. And I approached Mr. Matz and I said, Mr. Matz, I think you've made a mistake. It's out of 10 and you've given me 11. And Mr. Matz in this moment looked me straight into the eye and he said, 10 was for the best I had expected. What you have done goes far beyond what I expected for this homework. This is not a mistake. You deserve 11. And this messed with my mind. I, at the age of 14, had school sorted. It was figured out. You figure out what the rules are, you meet them, and you get your grade sufficient to carry on. And this just left me messed up. There's a grade beyond an A. In fact, the A is arbitrary. It's somebody else's idea. It doesn't mean I have to stop there. And this is the school system that I lived in the US. And these were the kids that were around me. For 30 years, the US has doubled the GDP growth rate of Europe. And there's times when they say it's got to do with it's a bigger economy, 300 million people. There's times that they say it's one language to sell to all of these people. In Europe, we have to speak new languages to cross 200 miles. But I believe all of that growth is held in the belief that teachers give in to kids at school. If I